in regards to secret oceans underneath oceans.
Yeah.
So there is a passage in Genesis 1. So Genesis 1:6. Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you process it? Because if I'm going to tell how I process it, right, people are going to tell that I'm mad, that I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I process it like okay. Unsubscribe, guys. I'm sorry, but the scripture says us the vault between the waters outside and inside. I may assume that instead of space, there's water.
Oh, I see. So this is great. I like this. So like, are you almost saying like the plasma is water?
Yes.
Oh, what an interesting concept.
But it says so. Once again, so Genesis 1:6. So God made the vault and separated the water under the vault from the water above it. Above it. The vault is what? Atmosphere?
You might be onto something. I don't know. Like, and when it comes to this, it could be the center of the earth. It could be water at the center. It could be water outside.
And also, God called the vault sky, quote unquote sky. And there was evening and there was morning the second day.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. And I like your concept behind it. Why would anybody unsubscribe? That sounds great. It could be entirely possible.
They can tell that I'm a flat earther.
No. I don't think that's necessarily true. But what it could be is that there's a possibility that how you're reading it is that's the vault. I don't have a problem with that.
Do you think there are other planets?
Do I think there's other planets?
Yeah, according to the Bible.
As in, well, yeah, I know we know there's other planets, but are you saying like inhabited planets or?
So there is Earth, right?
Yeah.
Either it's round or flat. It doesn't matter. So we live on Earth.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, of course.
But the Bible does not say it, and it does not say that it's not. There is nothing else.
Oh, well, I believe
Are we the only ones? So this God created only us and only our planet, or it created another planets and other species, other creatures.
Okay. So I have no problem with. So there's this thing called celestial mechanics, and I am not well versed in this. I can give you some other people that are far more versed in this than I am, but that discuss the nature of how certain scriptures line up with what's happening in the planetary movement.
Mm-hmm.
This is not my area. And I can tell you there's some wonderful stuff that's discussed about how the ellipse of Mars was different than it is now. It looks like it was like a 720-day ellipse, and Earth used to be 360, and they used to be much closer. And that's why Mars is named the war planet, because every time Mars got close to the Earth, something would occur on Earth, and it would. That's why throughout history Mars has been feared as the planet that's feared, right? Mm-hmm. We have that in I think Mars. Cairo is the name for Mars. I don't know if you're aware of that. The war planet and the city of Cairo, and so is, the Romans named Mars this because there's a certain amount of fear when that planet hypothetically would come closer in its ellipse to the Earth, right? All that to say, I don't know celestial mechanics nearly as well as some other people in my life, but I don't have a problem with the 7 negative archangels being assigned to each one of the planets. I think you can look at a planet as a heaven, a potential heaven, and I think there's 7 negative and 7 positive archangels, and each one of them assigned to a specific location, right? I think the creation shows us Jupiter is called the king star for a reason, and look how it has this red spot in a similar way that Christ was pierced, right? And if you start looking at planets from a perspective of how each one of them is unique, these could potentially be heavens, or where, going back to the Einstein-Rosen bridge, that there was bridges to them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly certain what's in them or anything like that. That's not my area of expertise at all. But it certainly appears that the angelic operates this way.
So other planets can be either heaven or hell.
I think when it talks about the lake of fire, that when Scripture talks about the lake of fire, it's pretty obvious that that's the sun. But I don't know. As punishment. But I don't. Yeah. Go
Okay,
ahead.
so let me get this straight. So Adam and Eve, right? She wanted to go to heaven faster and quicker than God was intended to.
Potentially.
Potentially,
Yeah. That's just
so
hypothesis.
she had the apple. Then the Tower of Babel. You're saying that this is kind of a portal to the heavens.
Potentially. Yeah.
Potentially.
Absolutely.
So us, especially Musk, wanting to travel to other planets, is the same thing.
Well, I would probably look at CERN in a very similar way. I think CERN is an attempt to look at the location of CERN.
What's CERN?
CERN is the reactor, or not the reactor. They're trying to spin.
Oh, in Switzerland?
Yeah. Well, it covers a huge area.
Yes.
And one of the areas that it covers was the worship of Jupiter, which is what the Romans worship Jupiter as their god.
Yes.
Right? They dressed up, etc. And they worship Saturn as well. Like this is Saturn is Kronos. Like this goes back to pre-flood.
Uh-huh.
I think all that stuff was really still worshipped all the way through the Roman and pagan period of time.